My name is Tom Skarlinski. I'm a USDA identifier in the Port of Miami. I also specialize in identifying Thysanoptera. Just thought we were finished doing our work for the day, and in walks somebody and drops off a thrips. Another dreaded thrips. We've got to stop and put this thing on a slide. We can't just hold it and put it under a microscope and look at it under a stereoscope and move it around. No, we've got to put it on a slide, and then we can identify it. But the magic of YouTube, it's already on a slide. So we can go ahead and let's figure out if this is a Tubulifera or a Terebrantia. So let's go ahead and check out our forewings. Although we're not going to do this in the exact order of the couplet, since we're up here, we might as well, if you notice that we're going to go ahead and check our forewings. We can see that there's some longitudinal veins there, right down through here, right there. And we have CD, although not a lot of CD on those veins, but there are CD. So let's go ahead and see, do we have a tubular terminal abdominal segment, or is it cone-shaped? Cone or tube? A cone or a tube? Looks like a cone to me. So we can eliminate Tubulifera. Looks like we've got a Terebrantia. But let's go ahead, check out the ovipositor on our girl here. We'll go ahead and focus into the ventral side. And it looks pretty serrate. You can see the serrations there, the little fluted areas that come out. So we're pretty sure we've got a Terebrantia. So let's move on to couplet 7. Antennal segments with emergent simple or forked sensory cones. Let's work our way back up north. We're going to take a look at antennal segments in 3 and 4. For those that aren't too good at counting, 1, 2, 3, 4. That's 3 and 4 and 3 and 4. So we're going to go ahead and focus in on those. All right, so we've got our antennal segment 3 and 4. Let's go ahead and look. You notice on antennal segment 4 here, and I'm going to focus in and out slowly. It seems to be forked, and the fork works its way around. It's actually been bent around. And then we can go down to antennal segment 3, and it seems to be that we're having the same situation. It's bent up around and then over here. But thankfully, we've got another antenna next door. So let's go ahead and check this one out. And you see we can clearly see that it's U-shaped, or the bull horns coming out on both sides. And it's attached here, and obviously it's external. It's not part of the antennal segment. So we have an emergent forked sense cone. So we have a Thripidae. So now let's go ahead and move over to couplet 9. So we want to determine what subfamily we've got. Are the legs covered with transverse rows of microtrichia? Let's go ahead and look at the legs. Here's the anterior tibia. We've got a lot of sculpture on those. So you'll notice there's a lot of sculpture on the legs, but there's not any microtrichia. But let's go ahead and maybe we can get another the hind leg here. See if we can focus in on the tibia here in the back and the hind tibia. So we have sculpture, but we don't have any of the small CD or the small microtrachea. Okay. And the terminal antennal segment is not long and acute. Now let's go ahead and look at that antennal segment, the terminal one, meaning the last antennal segment. It is pretty long and it is acute. It comes to a nice little fine point, similar to, say, a CD. Let's see if we can put that in phase. And you see how it comes a very fine point, like a CETA. So we've pretty much established the legs. They're without microtrachea, so let's move on to couplet 10. Now, things are going to get interesting. Metathoracic endopherca, usually, let me go ahead and say that again, usually not enlarged. Okay. There's our metathoracic endopherca. It looks pretty big. It is enlarged, and it does go into the mesothorax. But notice that it says usually, because there are exceptions to the rule. There are genera in this subfamily, which I'm not going to tell you what it is yet. But there are some genera that have the larger endopherca. So our opposing couplet, the endopherca is usually not enlarged and usually not extending into mesothorax. Terminal antennal variously shaped. Okay. Well, we know it's not, it's long and acute, so variously shaped. So we can go ahead, because it is long and acute, so we can go ahead and go to couplet 11. Okay. Head and legs usually with reticulate sculpture. Okay, let's look at the head. Look at all that sculpture. The legs. It's heavy sculpture. And the antennal segment is long and acute. The terminal antennal segment. We've already established that on this. So we have as a Panchaetothripinae. As a general rule of thumb, the way I kind of look at these is they have almost an alligator appearance. They're very rough. They have a heavy armature. Their exoskeleton. They look like they're ready to do battle. You know, so they're very, very robust looking and dark insects. Not always very dark, but they have this really heavy sclerotization and this rugoseness and this, as a general rule, when you see one of these. They often are very dark, and sometimes you have to bleach them to be able to see some of the characters on them. But what we do have is a Panchaetothripinae.